What's up, y'all? It's Cam.
Hey y'all, it's Desinae.
Hey, I'm Jada.
Hey, I'm Jay, and you're listening to Four Deep, a podcast with four Black women in their 20-somethings who aren't afraid to get deep with it.
And don't forget to follow us on everything, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at 4DPod. That's FOURDEEPPOD. If you listen on Spotify or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate us 5 stars. And if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so y'all don't miss out.
Lastly, don't forget about our deep ratings, y'all. We want to hear what you think on a scale of 1 to 4 deep. You can let us know on our Spotify poll. You can let us know in our comments on Instagram, interact with us on Twitter, get active with us on TikTok. We really want to hear how y'all feel about each episode.
Yes. And for all the new listeners, we do something each episode called Rosebud and Thorn. And the roses are something that was good that happened in our past week. A bud is something that we're looking forward to in the next week. And a thorn was something that was a thorn in our side from the last week. So who wants to go ahead and start this one off?
I can go. I would say a rose. Remember that post that I made last week on the takeover, and it was about that job that I got an interview for, where the lady was just talking about, 100 and blah, 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 people applied for this. And
Right.
So I was happy about that resume. So that job, I actually just had my 3rd interview with them.
Okay.
Little 3rd, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering how many more do I got?
For real.
So that's really a rose. I'm really excited about it. It will be like the perfect job opportunity. And then for a thorn, so in the interviews, actually, there were two of the interviews were like amazing. Like the first one was like amazing. Like I was able to connect, you know what I'm saying? Like I was able to get a couple laughs out. And the second interview was like the best interview. It was like with 2 dudes, but one of them, he was just like really nice, like really down to heart. Like he was like really a nice guy. But then we got down to the last interview and he just was not giving. And but I mean or like, I don't even know what to say. It was like either he was uncomfortable, he don't like to do interviews, or he was just having a bad day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know which one it was, but he was just being real quick with me. I'm telling y'all, because we're going to get into it later, but I feel like I was coming out with like some good answers to his questions, and he just kept like raining on my parade. Like, I know that was a good answer. Yeah, so, and considering it's going to be in our conversation later, y'all gonna know my assumed reason. So, yeah, we'll get into that. That was really a thorn for me. He kind of like, it just made me anxious again. Like at first I was like so excited, like, oh my God, I did such a good job. I'm doing such a good job. And then he just really rained on my parade a little bit. So try not to be anxious about it. So we'll see what happens. And then for a bud, Friday, I am going to Seattle. I'm gonna go see my boyfriend where he's doing his. So just over the weekend though, Memorial Day, 3-day weekend. So I'm gonna go out there. And yeah, that's my rosebud thorn.
Aww.
Seattle's gonna be fun. I've never been to Seattle.
Me neither. It looked beautiful out there though.
You gotta go to the Starbucks out there. I hear they got alcohol at that one. You can get an espresso martini if that's your vibe.
Period.
Okay, Seattle. I'm on the
way. No, I'm on the way.
Looking up on maps right now.
Right. Don't forget the liquor.
Okay. Okay, I'll go. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna go if nobody else was with you. You got it.
Okay, so a rose. We just released the flyer for Black Biz Flea Market. We're having our second event. Yes, we're having our second event on Sunday, June 18th, which is also Father's Day. So we're gonna be doing a Father's Day giveaway. It's gonna be so nice. I'm so excited. And so yeah, that's really, really exciting. Yeah, that's like the biggest thing that's coming up. Also, Merch Madness is still going on for Black Beauty Near You. And a rose, okay, I'll say I have 3. And part of that rose is being able to this past weekend, my grandma and my cousin wanted some custom merch. I'm like, y'all are working me. Like, why y'all just don't want the simple one that's already available? But no, because of the website that I use, I was able to make them some custom ones. My grandma got an army green hoodie, and my little cousin got a pink hoodie with white lettering. She had me change the logo color and everything. I said, girl, you is working me. You is working me.
But I bet it's cute though.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a bud too, because I'm excited to see how it comes out when they get it. So yeah, but in the meantime, Merch Madness is going on. This week is hoodies. One of the hoodies, just a white hoodie with the logo, and then the other hoodie has hashtag as it should be on one of the sleeves. And so yeah. And next week is going to be tote bags, and the week after that is going to be the crop tops. And then after that,
tote.
Yes, please get a tote because I love mine. Yes, I don't know when merch will be coming back, probably like around when school starts up again. But yeah, so after these next 3 weeks, I should say 2.5 weeks, merch will be gone. And yeah, so those are some roses. And then another rose this past weekend, I went back home to LA and I got to spend time with a lot of family and friends. I saw Jada, which was so exciting. Oh my gosh, like it was weird because like I felt like I see her all the time. So when I seen her, it's just like, hey girl. But then I was like, oh my gosh, like she's really here right now. What the heck? And so yeah, hanging out with friends and family was really nice. A bud would be we've been reaching out to sponsors for Black Biz Flea Market. And so that's in the works. So, we're planning on getting some money rolling in to help fund some things because yeah.
Right.
Things cost money. And so yeah, that's a bud that's going on right now. And a thorn, I would say I got my car washed on Thursday and literally on Friday it rained. But I couldn't go back to the car wash that I got it washed at because I was on my way to LA when it rained. And then in LA, basically every day I woke up, my car was wet because it rained. I'm just like, I'm just not gonna get my car washed anymore. That. So if you see my car is dirty, then you know why. But yeah, that was just so annoying. But nothing too major going on as a thorn. So yeah, just been trying to manage life. Start saying no to some stuff, like for real, and not making things seem as urgent. Like just because I get a notification does not mean I need to reply as soon as I get it. So I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah. That's my rosebud and thorn.
Ooh, sounds like everybody's been having a good week.
Yeah.
Let's see. My rose, I had a really good break. It was over way too quickly, but it was nice. I got a lot of rest and just got to do things that I wanted to do, honestly. I started actually walking around my neighborhood a little bit, and I found like this little spot because I live kind of by the river. Not kind of like I live by the river, but I was trying to like walk and see how far down I could follow it. And I ended up having to like cut through a neighborhood, found a soccer stadium that's nearby here that I didn't really know. Like I didn't know where it was. I just heard that it was around here. And then ended up coming up to like this point. Like, I don't know, it's literally called a point. And it's like this like little area where if you were walking past it, you would miss it. But if you walk up on it, you can like walk down and like there's like a little table and it's like right on the river. Like literally the water is like hitting up against it. So I was like, okay, this is a little vibe. So when I went over there, nobody was over there. So I'm like, oh my God, I found a secret spot. So then a couple of days later, I decided to walk back over there and it was hella people over there. I said, this is not a secret spot. And I felt a type of way because I thought I found something new. But apparently I was late. But that's okay. It's just real peaceful. And then end up realizing that like walking there and walking back to my house, it was like a 3-mile walk, which y'all know it's like real easy for me just to be walking and not even realize. So it's a good little way to get some exercise, some fresh air. So that was something that I enjoyed over break. Also finished both of the books that I had from the library like a while ago. Finished both of those. They're both so good. I love seeing women get their happy endings in romance novels. It just makes my heart so full. And they were good. There were some good books. But yeah, those are my roses. My bud. What would I say my bud is? I think Well, I guess something I'm looking forward to is this weekend, my friend and I, we found this like giant like bounce house like situation. It's like there's like a racetrack or like some fairgrounds or some kind of like event space out here, and they're literally like putting like a bunch of giant like inflatable things. And so we got tickets to go do that on Saturday evening. We did the adults only session, so I don't have to worry about tripping over bodies.
Yes.
That part.
Yeah.
They know what's up.
Exactly. So I'm excited for that. And a thorn would probably be that, you know what? Okay, my thorn is that my eye has been twitching, and it was twitching during finals and like as we were coming to the end of the semester. So I'm like, maybe it's stress, maybe I need, sleep. So I thought I would be solid after break, but it was like as soon as I started school again, my eye started twitching. Like literally 8 a.m. Monday morning, I'm in my, well, it's actually like 8:30. I was a little late on Monday, but that wasn't my fault. That was also that was another thorn. But I was in my chair and my eye started twitching, and I said, oh my God, like it's this place. So
For sure.
I just don't even know what to do at this point. So if y'all see my eye jumping, don't say nothing, please. But turn like this so y'all don't see it.
Most times it's not noticeable, really.
Yeah.
I hope not, but you feel like it is because
it's just like bouncing. I hate that.
Yeah. So yes, my rose bud and thorn. There you go. Don't look at it, please.
You called?
Right. Oh my God.
That's funny.
Oh my
God. Let's see. Rose. I have a lot of roses, but we're gonna bring it down a bit. So biggest rose right now is I just got back from California and I got to see everybody. So that was really special. I got to see my best friend graduate from nursing school. Now she has her graduate nursing degree. And I'm so proud of her. I got to chill with my brothers, okay? And then on top of that, I went back to UCSD, okay, alma mater, period. And I got to do the workshop and it was really, really good. And I had a lot of great feedback. I got to bring my brothers there and like show them around my campus. And my little brother, he was like, oh, I had a good time. And he never has a good time, girl. So I'm like, you had a good time? I'm like, we did something. And so, I kind of feel like I did good with exposing him to college and that being a possibility for him. So I'm actually really excited that he did enjoy himself and that he was really amazed at the campus. So I'm happy about that. Yeah. And I got to see Chuck. He was walking around.
wow.
Yes. And I just pulled up on him. I was like, he was like,
Chuck.
No way. He was like, shut up. I was like, yes. He was in the new college. Yeah. So I got to see Chuck. That just made my heart so full. I was like, wow, look at this. So I got to see a lot of great people. So my heart was just really, really full on that trip. And I flew back yesterday. Technically, it was like an overnight flight. So my days were mixed up a little bit. But I got back yesterday morning and my dad was here waiting on me. So that was really special. So I'm hanging out with him and he's originally in Germany right now, but he came to fly to visit us. So that's really sweet. And, it's close to Father's Day. So like, this is just like perfect timing. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I just been having some good time, just laying on him all day. Like trying to make sure I get the cuddles in. And then another rose is that y'all, God has still been moving and grooving with this business. Let me tell you, literally jumped from 5K to 6K in a day. In a day.
Shut up.
I'm being so for real. I was like, Jada, you can't put 6K
Oh my God.
Like, this is too much. Yes. I literally put it in my journal that we're hitting 10K this year and we're on the road. Like
I was about to say 10K by August.
Seriously.
I feel like you're on track for that.
Right, exactly. Might be tomorrow. Shoot.
At this point.
Don't play with it.
I just have to keep it up. Like it's literally those like those budgeting example videos. That's getting a lot of traction. And I don't have to do anything and they're just still just pulling people in and pulling people in. So it's this downtown stuff. Can y'all hear the music?
No.
Oh wow, they're bumping. Okay. I make it rain. That's the song. That's fine. But no, yeah. So I've just been like racking in all of them. Like I just been so full, and I just dropped today the post grad prep program. So Period. And that's a combo with Black Beauty Near You. So lit. I'm having a lot of fun with that. I did basically like a trial version when I did the workshop at the college. And now I actually have the program out. So I'm excited for all the college students to like just come on in. You can do it. I'm gonna get you right with budgeting and money before you graduate. So that's really exciting. And somebody else actually reached out to me to do another workshop at Georgia State University. So I'm excited about that too. Because she started yes, literally like yesterday. So I'm like, oh, this is just so good. So I'm just waiting on all of that. And then I did get an update about the big decision thing with like the cafe. So we're still in the works with that. She just had another meeting with the attorney today. So we're gonna see where this takes us. But I don't know, the further out it's getting pushed back, like the decision meeting, like the more I'm kind of getting a little about it. But I'm trying to secure like plan Bs. But then I'm like, okay, is me trying to secure plan Bs like showing God that I don't trust them? I was like, I don't know. So I'm just like trying to like figure it out. But I did do an interview with CNU to be like their event coordinator and like promotion specialist or something like that. So I did do an interview with them. I don't really know how it went because at the end I kind of fumbled the bag. My dad called me on the phone and my mom walked in the room. So it was just too much like going on at one time. And I kind of like choked up. But I was like, oh, you know what? Hopefully they just take the rest of the interview and like judge it off of that. But I mean, I'm not tripping. So those are all my roses. A bud is that I get to spend more time with my family and just see how this business stuff goes. It's been a month since I got laid off, and somehow, someway, I'm still here. So that's good. Yeah, it's God. And so I'm just like really amazed at that. And then a thorn. All that damn driving in California. My goodness, I spent way too much money. I spent like probably $350 out there, and I did not want to. Yes, $350 of money that I don't have. Right.
Gas?
Gas.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. A lot of it was gas. And then not even that much on food. Some of it was food. But Taylor kind of got me. We went to her graduation dinner. I spent $81 there. And yeah, because first of all, gratuity was $25 per person. I said, this is too much.
Well, that's nuts.
And there were 7 people there. I said $25 per person gratuity, and 7 people are here. I said, y'all, how much did we spend? I mean, we were in Beverly Hills though, so I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense.
That'll
I was
do
just
it.
like, sheesh, I was not expecting that. I was like, yo, this was not in the budget. But it's like, but yeah, I drove a total of 12 hours when I was in California, and I'm just like, yeah, no, not again. My mom lives too far, but that's another topic for another day. But that's my rosebud and thorn, y'all.
Okay.
But Desinae, you had a good transition, so let's go ahead and get into that.
My interviews. I had an interview, and okay, so first and foremost, the industry that I'm going into is construction. Now we all know construction is predominantly white male industry. That's just what it is. And the company that I, had applied for, they have high-end clients, like really high-end clients. So now it's like, but I mean like really high-end, like really, really high-end.
Period.
And, that kind of, there could be a lot going on with that too, with just the market base that they have. There's a lot going on with that. And my interviewer, he was just like, now, of course, in any company, I don't think that, I don't have anything against white people. Like, I like white people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with who fuck with us. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's more of an individual type of thing. And, of course, I try not to use the whole race card when it comes to certain things, but I just feel like when you feel it, you feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I know when somebody just doesn't like me as a person, or if somebody got to know me and now they don't like me, or you know what I'm saying? It's one thing for it to be that, and then it's another thing for just like blatant negativity. You know? So let me give y'all the example that I was trying to tell y'all about, where I feel like I gave a pretty good answer, and I don't know. So, this is like a common question though. They ask you, how would you deal with a customer or with a client that is rude to you or something like that? And I'm like, well, first and foremost, I wouldn't get offended. I feel like that's like the biggest thing, is for you to not get offended, because you never know what somebody had gone through that day, what they're going through in their life. So I don't get offended. I would simply ask them, what can we do to make you more comfortable? Or what steps can we take to make you happy? You know what I'm saying? And I said, yeah, like that's pretty much all we can do, is ask them their needs and meet those needs. And he goes, well, actually, some of our clients are a little more complicated than that, but okay. And I was
okay. That's petty and immature.
And I was just sitting there like, I thought I was giving a good vibe. Like, I had read my book, like I'm on positivity mindset right before the interview. Like I'm hyped from the last interview. So I feel like I'm giving great energy. I'm smiling as soon as he coming to the camera, you know what I'm saying? He don't see me not cracking a smile. But brushed it off. So I'm still smiling. I'm still, doing me, going throughout the interview. Like every time I give an answer, it's like, yeah, great, love it. And then just keep talking and on to the next thing. It was just like, there was no flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in interviews, there's like flow. There was absolutely no flow. No matter what I did to try to connect on some type of level, I just couldn't seem to do it. And he had a little bit to say about, my experience and just getting my feet wet. Cause it's actually it's a pretty high position. But at the same time, I mean, this is my third interview. I mean, something must be right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go through 3 other people before I got to you. So, I mean, this is now something that we want to talk about. I talked about this over and over and over. So it was just like, I was just getting just like a real downer vibe. I was getting a downer vibe. And, it was given, he was uncomfortable. He didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be doing this right now. And, I did what I did the best I could do. You know what I'm saying? It's in God's hands now. And I just feel like, no matter what the outcome is, I trust that it's going to work out in my favor, because it is. If it is a prejudice problem, then I wouldn't want to work there anyway. So,
exactly.
So it's like, it's a win-win. And on top of that, it is a really high-end position. And I know that my resume is doing what it's supposed to do then, if that's the case.
Part.
You know what I'm saying?
That part, yes.
And I got through 3 people till I got to him. So, you know what I'm saying? If this was like a 1 interview whammy or a 2 interview whammy, I would have had it. And that's protocol. That's regular. I don't know where all these other interviews is coming from. But I'm just feeling good about the whole job search situation. It definitely like released like some stress for me, now that I know, okay, you got your resumes together, you did what you had to do, all of that. Because I definitely had to even after making my changes, had to make some more changes, break resume. I broke 1 resume down into 3 for each industry: construction, real estate development, and general project management. And then and I did the cover letters, and then depending on which job I applied to, that's what they got. And that's when I actually started to get in the jobs. Having a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying? Because I got a lot of different experiences. Very diverse girl. But having all of that on 1 resume makes you look undecided and uncommitted and all that other stuff. So all out there, when y'all do your resume, if y'all going for multiple industries, or if y'all got multiple skill sets across the way, just make sure that each one is just relevant to that particular job that you are applying to, and then it will work. Because at first I was hot. I'm like, this is a hot resume. Okay. Yeah, it looked hot, but you need to break this down. And so now it's working. It's working. And
that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
That was a bummer. And it gave me a little anxiety too, just about going into the industry itself. I probably have to deal with a lot of that going through this industry, even with clients and things like that. So I'm just like trying to prepare myself to expect a lot more of that along the way, because I'm young, I'm Black, and I'm a woman. So it's like,
come on, title.
It's literally age, race, and gender. Like all of that is like it's hard. It's hard, but watch, we're gonna get up in there. We're gonna get up in there.
It will.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's hard too because like in situations like these, because of the different identities we hold, sometimes, we're not sure, like, is it just this person had a bad day, or is it this person is in a rush, or is it just how this person usually is, or was it something on me? Because if you feel usually, if you don't have too much to worry about, you can have a little bit more confidence in how you did and what you did, and that that doesn't play a part in how this other person was acting. But because of who we are, like you said, we're young, we're Black, we're women, it leaves more room for someone to judge us just based of, we don't even have to say anything, but it leaves more room for them to judge us on that. And so when it does come to these situations, it causes more anxiety, because it's like, for somebody who doesn't hold all of these identities, they can go in and be like, well, yeah, the interview guy, he was a little wonky, but I know I did a great job. And, so I think he was just having a bad day. Where on the other hand, for us, it would be different, we're like, he was acting a little, weird. I don't know if he was having a bad day or if it was because of me, because he doesn't, he's not used to seeing or talking to people like me in this industry, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, that, and that's what I be talking about. Like, it be little things like that when it's like, no, like when people say we all have the same 24 hours, like, bro, no, we don't. And it's these little things that add up into how we experience our day to day and how we live our lives. Like, we have to we worry about so many other different things because of the identities we hold. And so it's a privilege to not have so much to worry about. And I mean, like, even in some aspects, I'm privileged because, like, for example, I know we have people who are what is the word, like, ableist. They don't consider people who have disabilities or who are not able to do certain things. I can have privilege in that area too. So it's a lot of different factors that take place in our day-to-day that just make it a little bit more difficult to navigate than someone who has less identities to worry about. And so, I hate that you had to even like consider that, like, is it because like he was uncomfortable talking to me? Is it because of the way I look? But honestly, like you said, God got it. And, you did a great job. And I'm just hoping that, that's just the kind of person he is. Maybe he's just the type, maybe that they put him on the third interview for that reason. He doesn't really, have much emotion to say. He's quick, get through it, because the other ones, we got the character part out the way. So I'm hoping it's more on that end. But you sound like you've been doing a great job. So yeah. Whoever, like I always say, we're the prize. Exactly. They're lost. That was something I learned in NSBE, Nashville Society of Black Engineers, during undergrad. Is that we're the prize. Like, yeah, we shoot to be at these big companies. It'll look on our resume, blah, 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 woo. But no, they're looking for us. Like, they want us. They need us. So we have to remember that and remember the value that we do hold when we go into these spaces, and try our best to keep our head lifted as high as possible. It's definitely hard when you don't see people, but at the end of the day, we're the prize, okay? And you did your best, so that's all that matters. But it's hard out here.
Even for, I think I put it on one of the episodes, but how I had to take my braids out and I did them like the day before for an interview. Like, things like that is just, it sucks because I'm like, dang, I can't have cornrows. Like, they're gonna definitely think I am one of them ghetto girls. I'm like, I can't like the fact that that's even a thing. Like, they're gonna reduce how much I know. They're gonna reduce my experience, no matter what my resume says. If I come up there with some cornrows, it's automatically done. And so, like, I just hate it. And I think even I was in college and I was taking a class for EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion, that requirement, and the teacher, I forgot. I think he was white, and I think he had locks, and he was talking about something, and he had went into the interview. I don't know. I think he was trying to show the picture as if, like, see, like, I was able to do something. I don't know. I think he was trying to show it in a way that like he connected to us, but we're like, no, bro, that doesn't even make sense because at the end of the day, you're still white, like, and you're still using a hairstyle that is more native to us, and you're being able to pass with it. Because I think he was like, yeah, like I interviewed for UCSD with locks and I got in. I'm like, okay, well, your skin is also not brown and black. So
that was
like,
cute.
what is the point here? So we were all just like, okay, like that still doesn't make it right, sir. Like, but yeah, like we all definitely, and I think a lot of times we do highlight, you know, our disadvantages, but like Jay said, that we still do have some of those privileges here. And even for like people that are colorists, like, you know, we are all pretty lighter skin toned, and so for even people who would have darker skin tones, like they might even be even more judged because it's like, oh yeah, you gonna shoot me or something. Like, please. And so, you know, it is that. And I sometimes have to watch my own when it comes down to other people as well, because it's all just naturally ingrained. And so I get it, but like definitely we have to be way more just self-conscious about our privileges in general. But yeah, like that sucks. That actually sucks. And I know that I had an experience too when I was starting Greenline Planner, just because I was young and black and a woman and trying to be in the finance teaching. Other people were like, where are your credentials? Like, how are you doing this? Like, what do you know? Like, you know, you're not experienced. And I would internalize that, and it would really like stunt my growth and stunt me from doing content, or like really put negative thoughts in my head and not allow me to show up as confident while on the coaching calls. Like if anybody else is in the room and I'm trying to coach that person, I'm already like way smaller. Like I minimize myself because I'm like, dang, I don't want anybody else. Like I convinced this one person. Now I got to try and convince you too that I'm capable. And so I just kind of felt like proving myself like every single time. And I just, I hated it. But yeah, we got to walk up in that room and be like, okay, I'm black and I can do X, Y, Z. And yes, I can be a professional. And yes, I can also like to wear hoop earrings. Yes, I can also love to wear braids down to my ankles. Yes, and I can still be professional. Like y'all just, I just can't. And if I want to swoop my baby hairs and come into the office, I will.
You better swoop them baby hairs.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hello.
Come on. Yeah, they don't see that we can be so many different things. Like, and that is really truly the part of intersectionality with Black women, you know, like did I say that intersection? Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, like people just like reduces down to our skin tone or reduces down to you're this race, and it's just like, but we're so much more than that.
Yeah, it's a few people on my job, mind you. My company that I work at is not diverse, so do not get anything misconstrued. There are it's diversity in there, but I wouldn't say the company as a whole is diverse. But one thing I will say, I have seen a few people. There's one lady I met. She come in there with her hair done, nails click clackety clacking, and she be on her job having it together. Hair, you know, whatever kind of style, might have a little color in it, and I love that, and I just love seeing examples of that. And I just have to keep reminding myself, like, it doesn't matter how I show up, I'm going to be acting in a professional manner. It's not like I'm coming with a low V-cut shirt on with some booty shorts. Like, just because I got my nails done don't mean nothing. Just because I got some braids with a little color in it doesn't mean nothing. I'm not walking around here, you know, like, you know, it's still presentable. And so definitely been working on getting out of that mindset for sure, because I don't have time. I don't have time for that. There's like so many other things that we have to worry about in our day to day. And so I try to minimize those concerns to my best ability. Yeah, like it still comes up, but then I try to remind myself, like, hey, bro, like, don't stress it. You know, you are capable. But it's hard. It's definitely hard. Especially the whole braids thing. And we're young too. Like, I want to experiment. I want to do different things with my hair. I want to do different things with my nails. Blah blah blah. I remember one time I went to a dinner. I had just got my lashes done. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is my lashes gonna be too much? Like, are they gonna be too big? Blah blah blah. And after a while, I got there. I mean, I was just there being me, and like it was regular. So I think sometimes we psych ourselves out too, like, oh, it's da-da-da. But ain't nobody worried about all that too much. Sometimes, don't get me wrong. But yeah, just being confident in that is hard because of how, you know, we grew up in the things that surrounded us and the mindsets. Even today, the mindsets that, you know, some people have can affect, you know, how we go into those spaces. But yeah, it's hard.
I was gonna ask Cam, do you see a difference between like your staff and your faculty at your school, like at the HBCU versus the PWI?
And I was actually going to talk about that too, because I think that has been the real, like the best part about choosing to, you know, become a dentist at Howard. I had the opportunity, you know, when I looked at all my acceptances, it was between Howard and a school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin called Marquette University. And I remember in the interview, I don't know anything about Milwaukee. I don't know anything about Wisconsin. And so I asked them, like, what is it like? Like, what is the environment? You know, I live in California. I'm around a lot of people, a lot of diverse backgrounds, you know, trying to like cast the question to get, you know, get the answer I'm hoping to get. And he starts talking about restaurants. He starts talking about, yeah, we have Mexican food and Chinese food. I said, okay. That let me know everything I needed to know about Wisconsin. I said, okay, that's not the place for me. But the difference is huge because you have so many different types of Black people. Like you have Africans, you have Caribbeans, you have Afro-Latinos, you have like literally everybody, and international and within the States too. Everybody has a different background, everybody's different like experiences, and everybody looks different, and you're allowed to show up as yourself because we have majority like Black faculty. There is a good amount of non-Black faculty there, more than you would expect for HBCU, but because it's just the environment that we're in, you could have locks. A lot of people have locks. You could have long braids. You could have like, and I be coming in with like, you know, like a little squiggly cornrows and like all kinds of stuff. Like you can literally like wear your hair how you want to. You can present yourself how you want to. And you just feel that freedom that you don't feel at a PWI, or you don't feel outside of that space because of professionalism. But then when you're in an environment where you have so many different generations of Black people, you then have to deal with respectability politics. Whereas it's like, you might be able to wear your hair like that here, but don't do that when you leave here. Or, you know, there's still always that message in the back of your mind that we were always told that you got to do, you know, this, you got to work twice as much just to get half as far. You got to do this, that, and the other. And then sometimes too, you can have some non-Black faculty, you know, say some things that are like, I don't think you should be saying that. But I mean, you kind of got to watch, you got to pick your battles, unfortunately, and play the game. So it does help a lot to be in this space where I don't have to worry about professionalism in the traditional sense, but I still think there's that, like, there's still the message going through everything they teach us that, you know, you need to be mindful of your appearance and how that looks. Like they sent out a message today saying that some of us were out of, because, you know, we're just going into clinic, so we're getting oriented with how like things are supposed to go and what's expected of us. And they sent out a message today saying that some of us weren't in code, but we didn't know like to look over the dress code for clinic, because we figured like we've been here for 2 years, we've been doing observations, like we kind of know. But one of the things they made comments about was nails. Now, granted, it's very hard to be a dentist with the extendos. Like it's very hard. Like,
yes.
It just practicality reasons. Like, I just wouldn't suggest it. But then they made a remark about our hair, how it needs to be able to be up above our shoulders, you know, when we're in clinic where we're treating patients. Also realistic, because, you know, you don't want your hair to hold the bacteria from people's mouths and things like that. So for hygiene reasons, it makes sense. But I feel like in my mind, I automatically went to like, that's just coded language for professionalism, especially because like when I worked at In-N-Out, that was a whole thing where we felt like the dress code there was a little anti-Black. And I did have the opportunity to talk to like management and some people like higher up about that, because I felt like some of their dress codes was a little outdated. Like, if your hair is up and out the way, why does it matter if I have braids, if my braids are the same length as somebody else who has naturally long hair, kind of thing. So I think I'm always kind of like cognizant of the fact that people's language can still be coded in a way that's like professionalism, and professionalism can oftentimes be a little inherently anti-Black. So, you know, it's it's a different environment to navigate, but I mean, it just kind of is what it is. I feel like when you have all these separate identities, especially when you're Black, and you don't get to separate them. Like, you can be a woman and you could be white. You could be this and you could be that. But when you're Black, it's like you're a Black woman, and that's an experience that's unique from being just a woman, whatever that would be. Like, I couldn't even imagine. Or like that's from being a Black man. Or, you know what I mean? Like, you're always going to be Black and that thing put together, because the world is always going to consider that identity in the context of you being Black. And the Blackness is what they see first, oftentimes before they see anything else. They can make so many other assumptions about any other identity you have, but the Blackness is always going to be something that they see first, so long as it's like, you know, visible. There's some people who are like, you know, they pass for the races and whatnot, and that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I mean, the conversation on intersectionality, it can get real deep. And I think that's also another one of the things that I was reading about in a book that I mentioned some episodes ago. I don't even remember what episode it was, child, but it was The Sisters Are Right. And that one's been interesting too, because they're talking about like the caricatures of Black women, like the Mammy, the Jezebel, the Sapphire, the Matriarch, and how all of these painted like ideals about us have shaped how we're perceived, and how we kind of like break our backs to either fit into it, because it's like they think I'm this anyway, so I might as well just like be that, or breaking my back to like, okay, I don't want to be that, and I don't want them to see me as that. And it's like, dang, can we just get a break for a second?
Right.
Like, it is exhausting. It's exactly. And it made me think about the we were talking about hair too, like the anxiety of like getting a new hairstyle and coming into the workplace. That is a thing. I don't have to like, I realized like after a while how silly that was. At least being at Howard, it made me realize how silly it is, because we're all Black women who change their hair all the time. But like, I remember like not being in this space, like when I was getting ready to go to work at In-N-Out, like, and I had a new hairstyle. I'm like, oh my God, people are gonna make comments about it. People are gonna ask questions. People are gonna make a thing out of it. And it's like, I just don't want to be like, I want to be invisible. But in those times, you really feel like you're hyper visible. And
Yes.
it's just like,
Yes.
it's exhausting.
Yeah. I remember I got my hair pressed and everybody in the office came to my desk to see. I'm being so for real. I mean, so
you were an exhibit?
Yes, I was an exhibit.
That would have irritated me. Oh my God.
I was like,
That's sick.
It was
that actually.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I never felt like like, oh my goodness, I can't come into the office with this hairstyle. But I always felt like they were definitely going to be like, oohs, ahs, and just like, like over interest to the point where it's like, okay, like it's not that much, y'all. But one thing that you did say, Cam, about, being Black, and that Black is always going to be attached to that other and thing, like you were saying. And it kind of had me thinking about like how we introduce ourselves first. And, a lot of times we introduce like our profession first. When people say, oh, like, what do you do? Or what do you like to do? Or, tell me about yourself. We always introduce that. But then one of the other things that we tend to always introduce first too is like us being Black. And I think that I don't know. I feel like we do it for a good intention, but sometimes it can also come off as a bad thing. And in my head, I was just like breaking it down a little bit. And I'm like, okay, like to us, we're saying it because we're proud about it. But to other people, we're probably feeding into like, yeah, you're Black. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about this like out loud with y'all. But like if I was talking to someone who's white and I'm saying, oh yeah, like I'm a Black woman doing X, Y, and Z, even down to like me going to that pitch competition. I was talking to somebody in the back of the line, well, behind me, and I turned around and they were like kind of hyping me up because they could see I was nervous. When I turned around, she was like, girl, what are you thinking about? She was like, because I just seen you stand off into space. She was like, what's going through your mind? I was like, well, I don't know if I should say Green Line Planner caters to Black women. Should I just say women? Should I just say young adults? Like, and I didn't want to get specific because I felt like that was going to cut off my chances of getting funding and getting, the money. And so like, even down to that, like the way that I present my business, like, I don't know. Cause like identifying yourself as a Black woman sometimes can be really, like detrimental. And especially because a lot of times the funding is coming from people who are not Black. So, putting yourself out there as that and introducing yourself as like, oh yeah, I'm a proud Black woman, sometimes I feel like will hinder me but I want to say it because I'm proud about it. So it's like, I don't know, it's very interesting, very, very interesting, you know? And then like, I'm proud about it, but then also like, what if I was like trained to identify myself as this way first, because that's what other people identify me as first too. So it's like, I don't know. I gotta see. I gotta think about some things.
Yeah, I feel that because like when I'm doing like job applications and like every job, actually I've done applications where when answering what my race was like one of the only questions that I had to answer. I kid you not. I kid you not.
Wait, what?
I do, like you just think like, when I'm doing it, sometimes I really do think like, dang, am I gonna put like I wanna put Black, African American, but then something makes me want to put prefer not to say because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, okay, but I don't want them to I want them to know that I'm Black. So that way they know what to expect when they see me. But then it's like, why do I have to do that though?
Right.
Like,
Because you're
so
going to see is there to expect.
that's what I'm saying. Like, literally, I always, it's like, but I think about it. Like, every time I come across the question, I think, do I want to put prefer not to say, or do I want to put Black African American? I put Black, exactly, because like I'm proud to be Black, and I'm Black. So this application, it's a Black woman's application. So you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, I shouldn't even have like, why is this even a question? Why is this even a question? But there's no application where I've been through where they don't ask.
That's true.
That is weird. They should ask that after people are hired, regardless. Like, even if you're like white, like just don't ask race at all. Just do it kind of anonymously, and then like then get it if you're trying to like get quotas, because that's another thing. Like,
and that's what I be feeling like. That's what it is. Like y'all see if y'all need to reach a little quota, and then maybe you'll specifically look for Black people. You know what I'm saying? Or if you know you already reached your quota, maybe you'll pass the Black applications up. Because really, why do you ask? Why do you need the identification of what type
research purposes?
Yeah, I mean, from that sense though, like I can see how because how else are we keeping track of who's applying? Because then like when it comes to big, societal issues, we're asking companies, okay, but how many people apply to this program? How many people are you reaching out to that were women, that were Black, da, 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 da. And it's like, how do we get that information if we don't keep track of it? So, but I do feel on the other hand too, like, like why is it important? Why should I mark it when I'm, going to this interview? Why do you need to know what I look like? But yeah, it's difficult because in a sense though, it's like how else will we, keep track of that data to see what these companies are doing and to hold them accountable, not from like, even if they are using it to be like, okay, I reached this quota, blah, blah, blah. Even on the outside, it does leave room for people to be like, okay, but like, how many people did you hire? How many people do you have in this position? Or how many people did you reach out to? Where are your applications at? So where people are applying, why are the only people applying white? For example. So it's kind of it's like a pro and con type thing. Cause yeah, like we need it, but then go ahead.
It's like, and the fact that we even have to keep track of these things, the fact that there even is a quota, the fact that we even have to hold y'all accountable. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that we even got to go through all of this just to make sure that we get the spaces that we deserve to get. It's just the whole thing. It just goes so deep. It just gets so deep that it's just like there's no. Now we got to put in all this extra work to make sure that we get where we supposed to get. And I don't know. It's just too deep. It's just too much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And another thing that like even our own Black community does for us, because it's very toxic, is like stereotype us. Like we stereotype Black people. And I know that it really hurts a lot of Black people that are like Black in punk or Black in like country music or like, certain things like that. Like they're like, you do that? Oh, you're not Black. Like, even down to those games of like revoke my Black card or stuff like that. Like, we do. I feel like we internalize a lot, and then we like make it our own, and then like turn it on other Black people. Because even for I know like Simone Biles, she was getting a lot of hate because her edges weren't done while she was like doing her stuff. I'm like, okay, first of all, she's sweating. and she's gonna sweat them out. And she's doing a good thing for us. And she's making the way. She's paving the way, making space. So why do you care about her edges? It's just like, sir, so many things. Like when Black people act anti-Black, it's like, stop it. And I really feel so bad because she really did get hate for that. And I'm just like, edges, y'all, that's what y'all worried about?
Wow.
Yeah.
And it sucks because those are the voices that get amplified, the negative ones, not the people who are saying, yeah, my daughter loves you. Yeah, you're doing great. The comment that's going to stand out and be pinned in the comments is the one talking mess. So it's so annoying because it kind of gives this negative perception of, the Black community. And another thing, I'm trying to figure out what path I want to go because that was a great lead to conversation. But before I forget, Jada, when you were mentioning mentioning Black in your pitch, I know like I was hesitant when creating the name for Black Beauty Near You, like right off the bat, like Black Beauty Near You, you know what's up, like. But it was kind of like hard, like like people. If I would table at some place, people will come up like, oh, well, like, I'm not Black, but can I use like da 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 da? And I'd be like, yeah, like if that's what you use, then use it. But that's not why this was created or who this was created for. And even when going through my rebrand and speaking to different folks who are like, experienced in the marketing world and the branding and all that, I would ask them like, should I even say like Black students? And then should I narrow it down to Black woman or young Black woman? Because I'm like, I still want to be inclusive, but I also want to make sure I know who my audience is, and so it was difficult because I'm like, I don't want to seem like I'm excluding anyone. But that's another thing too, when you do brand your business or even just branding yourself, you have to know how to communicate those type of things too, because a lot of the things I do, I still do make sure to be inclusive just because I know my audience. And basically my audience is the people who shop most with Black Beauty Near You and who go to beauty supply stores the most. But that doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, like I'm not selling do-rags, I'm not selling pomade for waves, styles that the majority of the other than women identifying population uses. It's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm not selling those. It's just that I want to cater towards, that certain community. So it's hard. And like having Black in that name or in my business name, it's, at the beginning it was kind of, like, should I do this? Should I not? Like when I talk to people about it, what are they going to think? Are they going to think I'm just pro-Black, anti everything else? But I just go through the battle of like, I have to be confident in what I'm doing. And this is my message. This is my purpose. And honestly, there's a lot of places out there that are for other folks. And if I want to focus on a certain group, I'm going to do it because nobody else is doing it. And so if you have a problem with it, then figure all that other stuff out that's going on, which made me have to create this. Even when I'd be in interviews, I'd be like, yeah, I was part of the Black Student Union, the Black Resource Center. I was part of Women in Computing, blah, blah, blah. They'd be thinking like, oh, she just Black, 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 Black. And I'd be like, yeah, I am. I hope you do think that. Because yes, and there's so like outside of that, there's just so many parts. Like I was working at the Black Resource Center, but a lot of things I did was, intertwined with engineering stuff and computer science stuff. So it's like, I'm not just pro-Black politics. Like I could be pro-Black engineering, pro-Black STEM, there's just so many different levels to it. And so I've learned to just be unapologetically Black. And I've seen businesses out there that do cater towards certain demographics be very successful. And I feel like I have confidence in what I'm doing. And I just have to keep reminding myself that there are going to be other people out there that have confidence in what I'm doing. And I'm not getting these ideas for them to just be shot down and not supported as I move along my journey. So I have to remember, like, keep stand 10 toes down in what you want, because that's how, I attract the type of people I want around me. If you don't like the fact that I'm saying, oh yeah, this is for Black people, and you don't want to support me because I have the word Black in my name, you're not for me. We don't do that over here. So it's just kind of, trying to be confident in that. But it is difficult because a lot of places I just, even if I'm like on a panel introducing myself, what did you do? Da, da, da. And like a lot of my experience is within, you know, Black spaces and organizations and clubs and businesses that have the word Black in them or that cater towards Black people. And yeah, it is what it is. A lot of the stuff I do on my day-to-day during work is not for Black people. So now I'm gonna really turn it up when it's outside of work because I don't do that throughout my day as often. So yeah, that resonated to me too when you were talking about adding that in your pitch, because that's something that I definitely went through and still go through when describing what I do or how I do it and being inclusive, all that jazz. It's a lot of back and forth that
I
goes
definitely
on in
change it
my
up depending on who I'm talking to. So
Yeah, I would say the key is knowing your audience for sure. Because even with writing my essays, I knew what I was sending to Howard and I knew what I was sending to Meharry. But I knew what I was sending to UCLA and to UCSF and to Marquette. Like,
yeah,
I know what my goal is. I know my goal is to go back home and serve Black people because we don't have a lot of Black dentists in the area. But for some people, they think that's like a red flag. I don't want to serve nobody else. Now you know. Now you know that is. I cannot do that legally. Let's be for real. Like, let's start there. Legally, you know, and I know that I can't do that. But that's also not my goal. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, turn them away. But I'm gonna go the extra mile to make myself available and create accessibility to Black people to come see me if that's what they want to do. I just feel like people need to stop being so offended at us wanting to serve our community after after what? After slavery, after like we didn't ask for none of this, after the violence, after we just trying to look out for our people and cater for us in the ways that nobody else will.
And other races do it. Shoot, Indian matchmaking, Jewish matchmaking. They
all
do
that.
Yeah. Just let us live.
That would be nice. Yeah. And it's hard too, especially like for folks who do identify like with multiple races and stuff too, like experiencing you know, what to resonate with, just all of that on top. Like sometimes it's like I see people talking about, oh well, you got white in you, so you good, but like is again, it's not just based on appearance. You can be the most light, bright, mixed person, whatever, but you could have grown up in the most southern parts of Georgia with, you know, all that southern you know, just taking it back to our roots, whatever. And so just because of the way they look doesn't mean like, oh, this person is whitewashed or, you know, as what am I trying to say, quote unquote, the sayings, you know, we can't just go based on appearances. And, you know, just like the battles we have with being Black and woman and being Black in the STEM field, on top of that is kind of like Black in this space, but I may appear as not. And like I can even imagine going through that on the day-to-day as well, because you're kind of like stuck, and sometimes not even in the middle of two identities or two races, two ethnicities. It's multiple. You know, we don't multiply and multiply and multiply. We got some ethnicities on ethnicities out here. And so yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Like the layers just the layers be layering, and we just have to be mindful of like the things we say and I think mostly like the spaces that we create for folks. Just, and it's hard because we do have our biases, but just being open. And I think a lot of that comes with communication and not assuming things. Like when you actually talk to people and get to know them, simple as where are you from? What's your background? Who are you? What's your name? Pronouns, stuff like that. You can, you know, nip a few things in the bud so you don't slip up and say something that you just assumed, you know. And it's definitely easier said than done, like I always say, because hindsight is definitely be 2020 once you look back at stuff. But yeah, just being mindful of, you know, those that intersectionality as well, identifying with multiple race, multiple ethnicities, all that good stuff, because that exists too for people, and it's not easy.
Desinae, did you ever go to any of the ABCs?
I did not.
There was a specific one about intersectionality, and that one was very dope. It was very, very dope. And that's even where I first heard the term intersectionality, because I never really heard it like that. But when they were talking about it, I was like, wow, like that's true. Like we are so much more than just Black. Like I was like, wow. I'm like, my experience as a woman, and then as experience as being Black, and like they combine and they make this whole new experience. I feel like it was alchemy or something. I was like, wow. And so it was just really, really funny to really like recognize all these things. But it's very true. Like, and it's weird how we have to really look at every single identity that we have. And I want to try and write down every identity that I associate with, just to see how much Black and I am. And I want to see like all the other things that I have interest in. And like I don't know, like I know a lot of us are like, oh, you surf, you're Black, like what? Was like, yeah, like Black people can do whatever they want to do and will. So I just really want to start like looking at that, because I know a lot of people are making spaces for Black people to be there, especially like in the surf community or in the country community, or like different places. Like we're really trying to show like, no, Black people can be so much more than just fried chicken, watermelon, and cookouts. Like I promise we can be. And so it's just like it's awesome. And the fact that like we're even like coming down to certain things of like, wow, like you're in a doctorate program, wow, there's a Black person, wow, I'm so happy. Like it shouldn't be that much of a surprise anymore. Like we should like really just be like looking at it like, wow, cool, like that person did a great thing. And not even just and then like having to carry certain things on your back and like feel like you have to represent the whole community sometimes. That is also a big thing as well, because I know my dad, he talks about that especially with living in Germany. There's there's not a lot of Black people out there. And sometimes he feels like he has the pressure of representing the whole community as a Black man. And so he, tries to like do certain things, or he'll not do certain things just because of that. And that, it breaks my heart when he says certain things like that, because I'm like, dang, like you shouldn't have to feel that way. Just be. But I know that is a hard thing. But I do like the fact that we are trying to expand and like drop pieces of us in every single place. And I know people will be like, well, what if people said, oh, white beauty near you? Okay. Like that they been did that.
That would
That's
be
already exactly right. Sally's. They been did that.
That would be Ulta.
Exactly. And if they didn't separate us in the beginning, we wouldn't have to do the separation again now. And that's the main thing, is like they are the ones that already separated us. And then we're just reclaiming that separation and saying, no, then we are going to show up in that space and be, even greater than what you tried to lower us as. So yeah, I don't like when people be like, well, why does everything have to be Black owned this and Black this? Because y'all need to know that we're here and we're in these spaces, and because it's automatically defaulted to white. And so like we have to make that separation known. And yeah, like I don't know how people say it.
Yeah. I feel that like, how you gonna be mad at me for making a way because you didn't make a way? Like
exactly.
pick one.
And you actually like stopped the way.
Like
you didn't want there to be a way at all.
Right. Right. I'm just trying to help us out. And now you mad. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like intersectionality is real loaded. And like I said, being around so many different types of Black people too, I'm seeing like the cultural differences and people's like interpretations of like Black Americans versus Africans versus Caribbeans. Like it's not like a debate or an argument like per se, but it's like it's things that you like see and notice, or like comments that are made here and there. People have their own perceptions, and we do internalize a lot just simply because of cultural differences and historical like experiences that happen within all of our communities and things like that. It's a lot to think about when you think about all the little identities that you hold. I also was wanting to, after you said that, Jada, like wanted to like sit down and write down all your ands. I feel like that was an exercise we did at the Black Resource Center during my intern year. I feel like even if it wasn't there, I've served in so many student roles. I feel like that happened, But I, at that time, my understanding of intersectionality and what identities like counted, quote unquote, I always put like the same like 4 things, or they would say like, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, like, but I would like to, now that I've had some years and some experience and a better understanding of myself as compared to when I was like 19, 20 years old, what I consider my identities to be now. So
yeah, sounds like a little activity we could do, and hopefully
right.
I feel like we've been putting activities out there. I feel like we've been doing that for the people. Like,
yeah,
I love that. I love that for us.
can join us. Yeah, I think that would be nice to do. Just personally, like sitting there and be like, okay, like, what am I a part of? What do I like to do? And then even after that, reflecting like, okay, I'm in this space, what does me being Black have to do with this space? Is it, positive, negative? Does it have its pros and cons, and how is that affecting me when I'm in these spaces? Like,
yeah. How do you show up too? Because like some of my identities I would want to give more love to. Like that's an identity. I don't give that love as much as I should or shout it out as much as I should. And I want to try to like introduce myself differently, like each time now. Like because I just want to like switch it up. Like, yeah, I'm this and that. Like I don't want to just always hit y'all with what I do and what my career is. Like I want to switch it up and try it out and see the reactions that I get. Like, I just want to experiment with this.
Yeah.
Are you saying something, Desinae? Because I don't think I could hear you.
Dan, you couldn't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Said I got to make that list. Because I'm going, the industry I'm going into right now, I need to really, do my pros and cons, think about how it's going to affect me, how it is affecting me, and just how I feel like I need to show up when I do get there. Because I ain't going to let it back me down, the pros and cons, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's what I want to do, that's what I want to do. But I am going to take into account, I got to be mindful of how I let it affect me once I get there. And just how I present myself when I get there.
I feel like it could help you like learn how to take care of yourself in those spaces too. Because now I'm thinking like, how could that also work for me? Like knowing that this identity or that identity is causing me to feel this way in this environment. What do I need to do to help relieve that, but not make me feel ashamed of that identity in that space? Like you said, not letting it back you down or make yourself small or anything like that. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, to-do list. Okay. That's gonna be fun. And then we can share that with everyone. I think that would be really nice too. And then hopefully, y'all join us, please, so we can see, what your Black ants are, if that makes sense. Because we're just so much more than what people see when they first look at us. And sometimes for some people they can barely even see what we are when they look at us. They don't even know what's going on. And so like just being able to write that down and see how much we hold. I like Jada when you were saying like maybe this is something like that I'm neglecting or stuff, writing it down. I was like, oh yeah, I do like that. And it's been a minute since I acted like I like that. Why? Let's get back into that. That's so I like going into it like that. That's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Because come on, Black readers, because we're Black readers too.
Yes.
Right. I didn't even think about that.
Got me a little bookshelf.
Period.
Okay. Black plant mom. Okay.
Come on.
I'm trying. Yeah.
That is gonna be a really cute post. All of our Black ants. That's gonna be really
nice.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm happy that we were able to talk about this too, because it's so prevalent in our day-to-day lives, and to not be sometimes talking about this can be draining, but it's nice to be in a space of people who like y'all get it, like y'all understand. And so and just having an open space to be able to talk about that stuff too. Like like when I go into this space, this is how I feel. And I feel like I should wear my hair like this. I feel like I have to wear my nails like this because of X, Y, and Z. And like, talking about that stuff and not feeling judged about it and just having that safe space. I'm happy, that we have that here, because we gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it deep. We gotta keep it 4 deep. And yeah, like a lot of people like to act in front like, oh, I'm super woke. I don't take part in this 24/7. I do this. But it's like, hey, like we all have our days. We all have our moments.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed this conversation, to say the least.
So I really needed it. Ooh, that I needed. And now I got something to help me. Like literally this little list, like this is gonna be a tool for me now. So I need this.
Yes. Yes. Definitely reading it to myself in the morning as affirmation, kind of. When I look in the mirror. Black, period.
Right.
Yes.
I'm black and. Oh yeah. That's
Okay.
really cute. Oh yeah. So I think this one actually got pretty deep, y'all.
Yeah.
No one cried, but that doesn't mean we didn't get deep.
No, yeah. I think we did. We're definitely talking about a lot of stuff that, it is not brought up. It's hard to, we've talked about a lot of stuff that's hard to talk about, I would say, a lot of things that we don't really bring up often because like, I don't know how this is going to sound. I don't want to be put in the race car. I don't want that. I was like, hey, like, this is how I feel. And I don't know if it's because of me that I feel this way, because of society I feel this way, whatever, but it's how I feel. So yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, it was definitely a topic that a lot of people don't even usually think about on a day-to-day, like the intersectionalities of their identities, like and how that affects their life experiences.
Yeah.
But don't go down the rabbit hole, y'all. Please don't. Where you think everything is racist. Like, please don't. Like maybe that girl just staring at you because she likes your skirt. Like, so don't go too far down the rabbit hole. But definitely, understand and be aware and use use it as tools.
That's what I'm trying not to do. You know what I'm saying? Could have had a bad day. Could just not like to do interviews. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. Of course, my experience and my knowledge may have my mind go somewhere else at times, but you know what I'm saying, let God handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also just, before we do wrap it up, to also mention that our race or ethnicity is not the only identity that has like a physical appearance that people can draw assumptions from. Like color of our skin is definitely one, but say I'm a person with a beard and a dress, stereotypical people like, oh, that person is gay or part of the LGBTQ plus community, whatever. And it's like, no, I just, I got a beard and I like to wear a dress. That's it. Like, that's really it. But, because of, it can be the color of our skin that people try to identify us, what we wear, how we present ourselves, if we have like a walker or a cane or, like just different things like that. People, it's easy for people to assume, and I'm not saying people like other people, because I know even personally, like some biases are instilled in myself, but there are multiple identities that we do need to be aware of within the Black community. Like, just because you Black don't mean you can't walk. There aren't Black people walking around with walkers and they don't have that bias from other people on them. So we have to be aware of those other identities too, that's people assume from physical experience, if that makes sense. Just to put that out there as well, because a lot of assumptions can be made. But yeah, like just to say, like, we have to be aware of all those other identities too, and making sure that we're not placing any assumptions on anyone. And yeah, I couldn't just, I'm like, what?
It's not funny. It's not funny. So I was watching a show, and I was actually watching Queer Eye, and this guy that they were helping on there, he was in a wheelchair, and he did look like, he came from, somewhere. He had to slit in his eyebrows, and, so I thought, I was like, oh, he probably got shot. No, he did not get shot. He was just in a car accident. Okay, not just, but he was in a car accident, and it was very traumatic, and he got paralyzed from the chest down. But my initial assumption, seeing a Black man with slits in his eyebrows in a wheelchair, being a very young Black man, I assumed he got shot. And so, and he even said that on the show. He was like, yeah, and it just really sucks because a lot of people automatically assume that I got shot. And people will come up to me and be like, oh, where you get shot at, bro? Like, and I'm like, dang, I did that. And so, like, it really is something that I do have to, like, even check myself on. But outside of that, like, I understand, you know, we have these biases for a reason, to protect us. Sometimes, you know, we need to make judgments to protect ourselves. But we do have to, like, check how our judgment meter is, basically.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like I said, easier said than done, but you know, just being more aware of it than we usually are, I feel, helps enough. We're not perfect. So
it's all about minimizing the harm that your biases cause, for real. Because if it's a thought in your head but you don't act on it, it's like, okay, I'm calling attention to that thought, and now I'm realizing it's not good for me to have that. Versus you went and acted on it, now you like, oh, my bad. But you can't the damage is done.
Yeah. Exactly.
I wanted to say, for anybody who's like new to the term intersectionality, or just you've never had this conversation before, it's all new to you. The term was created by a Black woman, Kimberly Crenshaw. So if y'all want more information on that, I'm sure she still talks about it, or maybe there might be like books or things you could read on it. Like I said, I'm reading the book, The Sisters Are All Right. I can't remember the author right now. But there's a lot of resources out there for people who want to kind of get into that a little bit more and learn about it. I feel like we're pretty well versed in it just because of the college background we came from. These are the conversations that we had regularly. But like, I'm realizing now, you know, being here, that not a lot of people have these conversations or the same views of the world. Some people are in their phases of relearning and calling attention to the things that they used to think about and how their mind, you know, how their thought processes work and everything. So yeah,
thanks for that.
No, thanks, Cam. Wow. But thank y'all for listening, as always. Y'all are just amazing. Oh yeah, don't forget to rate us 5 stars. 5 stars. And is there anything? Oh yeah, poll 1 through 4 deep.
Yes,
I would give us a 3. I'll give us a 3-4.
I give us a nice 3.
Yeah,
because the topic itself was deep.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
there's room for a little bit more deepness, though.
There was. But
we did get pretty deep, though. And also, like, if you're not subscribed, like, to our YouTube channel and you're watching us on YouTube right now, let's get that together. Go ahead. Just a little tap, give us a little tap, and also tap on the like button too, because you made it this far, so you have to have like something, okay? And I think for rating us 5 stars, like, if you've been listening up to this point, you should be able to vote on, I think, Spotify or Apple Podcasts at this point. So go ahead, give us 5 stars, because duh. And yeah, I'm just so grateful to like have this community and just you know, all the support that we've been getting, the feedback, just the community we're creating. It's just beautiful. So yeah, keep telling your friends about 4 Deep.
Yes. And the next episode is the last one of the season. So if you haven't caught up on some of the episodes, go back. There's a lot of content.
Thanks. Oh yeah. Wow.
I know. But we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, y'all.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.